Hey, we're live, everybody. What's going on? You guys see me all good in there? Got a new setup, got a new mic set up. Hopefully things are running good. I'm sure you guys will let me know if there's some issues. As far as Lyle goes, he's not feeling good. He's a little under the weather. Nothing really to be alarmed about, but we definitely will miss Lyle, and having a show without him tonight is definitely not going to be easy, but we're going to see what we can do. Not my first rodeo, but he will be missed, definitely. I always love talking with Lyle here every Thursday night. A couple announcements real quick. I did make sure to add the link for the membership. So if you guys want to help support Lyle and his channel, Panfish Nation, you can become a member. The link's in the description, or you can just click on the link like you would a super chat. It'll be there. But I know that Apple devices has some problems. That being said, let's see who's in chat. Let's see who's stacked in here after the bait shop. That was a cool show. I wonder who Chad's going to pick to be the new co-host. Either that or they might have a mutiny over there and Chad may be out. I don't know. I kind of got that idea. So let's see who's in chat. There's Keith. Northwest Pennsylvania fishing. What's going on, Keith? There's a couple of crosses fishing. How you doing, Betty? My sister representing. What's going on? I see channel member Adventures with Robin C. How you doing, dear? I see Annette's catfishing. What's going on, Annette? How are you? Avid fisherman in the house. There's Big Wrench catfishing. There's my buddy Bobcat. He was sporting the original catfish and crappie hat on the show tonight. Congratulations on winning the Winter Blues, Bobcat. That was awesome. You did a great job. I don't care if they like live scope or not. You're the man. You won. Brandon Cross in the house. What's up, Brandon? How you doing, buddy? There's Brian Shepard in the house. I see Chucky. How you doing, Chucky? There's channel member Crappie Dave Fish on. Channel member Dan Thompson. David Smith in the house. Channel member Don R in the house. What's up, Don? Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're not buried in stone. You're keeping warm up there. Double Hook Angling channel member. How you doing, Dave? Fish and Freedom channel member. What's going on, Richard? There's my buddy Dawson, fishing with squirrel. Dawson, we got to talk, man. I'm going to send you an email or you email me. We got to exchange numbers, bud. Freddie's Outdoor Adventures. I might have his number. I'm not quite sure. Halana's Catfishing Adventures. Halana, now there's my pick for the new host and co-host. All the jobs on the bait shop. Good job, Halana. And I like that hat. Pretty cool hat. Cowboy hat with the American flag. I saw that. There's channel member Joe Buck 66. As always, what's up, Joe Buck? Thanks for supporting the channel. There's my buddy Kim Burnett. How you doing, Kim? What's up? There's the great Melissa. How you doing, Melissa? Welcome to the show. Nina's Kayak Crew. Hello, Nina. Nubby's Catfishing. Real and Virtual Outdoors. I've been watching Troy do some online gaming while I'm working off in the background. Good job, buddy. Shirley T in the house. Small Water Charters. There's my buddy John. John's going to be on my show Monday night. Ought to be interesting. He's the original Florida man. He knows what I'm talking about. Split Shot Baits in the house. Super Smurf Eric Catfishing, also known as Waterfowl Enthusiast. Takedown Catfishing. How you doing, Kenny? Hopefully your back's getting better. There's Kelly over at the Bullock Experience. Tim Molina. What's up, Tim? How you doing, bud? TX Tiger in the house. Uptown Chrissy Brown. How you doing, dear? There's Matt over at Want to Be Outdoors. Saw some more people come in here. Let me scroll through the list here. Bob Gaines, if I missed you, I didn't know. Creole Catfishing. What's up, Creole? I'm glad to hear that everything was all right in your neck of the woods with that horrible weather, Creole. I was kind of worried about you. I was glad when you replied with it all passed you. Let's see what else we got here. Squirrel. There's Freddie's Outdoor Adventures. What's up, Freddie? How you doing, buddy? Melissa, I said hello to. I'll say hello to again. People are stacking in here. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But it's always interesting to do. So yeah, like I was saying, Lyle's got like a bad cold or something, nothing serious. So he's taking it easy. I think the worst part of it is he can't talk. He's lost his voice. So, and I was reading off the list of people in chat. So if you guys could let me know how things look and sound, I would appreciate it too. So getting ready for spring panfish. And I've been getting ready for stuff for this for a while now. When I realized that ice wasn't happening for quite some time this year, which it still hasn't, everything's kind of thawed already. All the ponds up until this morning, were pretty much thawed. They were open. Me thinking the weather was going to change and we're going to freeze again, I was not ready for it to be open water. So I started getting my spring stuff ready. Might as well. It's not like I was having to do anything else. And some of the things I did, I thought I'd share with you guys, talk a little bit, see what you guys thought about, or see what you guys were doing in chat, if you were doing anything at all. I saw a video today, actually a short from a local gentleman who I'm having on my podcast here in the next couple of months. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. Hey, Lance, what's going on? How you doing, bud? He had come up with a valid point. He's a professional angler and a owner of a big bait shop here in Northern Illinois. And his biggest rule, or biggest thing to help stay ready for fishing when the new season comes, especially, well, for his open water gear and his ice fishing gear, is back off the drag. I was talking to him today a little bit on the phone, and he was explaining that, which made total sense. When your drag is tightened down on all your reels, whether it's spinning or casting, that you got everything under pressure, under tension. And if it's just sitting there under tension over the whole off season, you're either going to have to service and replace stuff in the spring if it goes bad, or you can just back it down before you put the things away for the season. So if you haven't done that yet, you're in one of these colder climates like me, you might want to go out to the garage like I actually did today and back those drags off of all your reels that are in storage. So that just takes a couple of minutes. What you do is, back it off, whether it's star drag or whether it's drag on a spool. Just make it so it's loose enough that it comes off. It doesn't have to be way loose, and that should be good to go. Some of the other things that I have been doing is I've been cleaning reels. I've been wiping my rods down. I like to use alcohol swabs. I got a whole box from here in the house for my rods. It's whether or not it damages finishes, I don't know. It hasn't. I've been using them forever. I'll get all the shad guts off of them for the most part, or at least the majority of them. A couple of my flathead rods, there's no saving some of them on the handles, but as far as the rod goes, I just kind of get it cleaned up, wipe out the inside of the eyes. I do use braid, so I inspect everything for notches or grooves, and I use all my catfish gear, which it really makes a difference on because of the weight of the fish we're chasing and the baits that we're throwing. None of them are. They're all nickel plated, I believe, or chrome plated. Lyle told me once, Lyle, if you're watching, please forgive me. It's one of those harder platings that'll keep grooves from happening in your eyes. If you're using rods that have the porcelain inserts, you want to inspect those, make sure they're not broken. If they're broken, you could have been using it for a while and not even known it. And when you go to hook up on a big fish, you're going to cut through your line. I don't care if it's braid or mono, just nature of the beast. So that's pretty much what I do for my rods. We're not at the reels yet. So let's see what's going on here in chat. Anybody got any questions or anything to add? What do you guys do for rod maintenance? I've even given it a thought to get like some quick detail wax, put some on a micro cloth towel. I always keep one here on my desk for my glasses. I got a whole bin of those things. Thought about getting some quick detail wax and just kind of spraying the rag and wiping the rods down. I think that'd probably be conducive to helping keep them not only looking good, but protecting them from the elements. Some of the quick detail stuff actually has some UV protection, which is probably good for the materials of the rod. I know we're getting kind of picky here, but these are our babies. This is our passion. This is our hobby. So, and also you can make a hobby out of getting ready and stuff. Small waters. John says a recent charter guy broke not one but two crappie poles. I wonder who that is. So those are some things that I do for the rod maintenance. Stack them up, put them somewhere you're not going to slam a door on them. definitely, or close a garage door on them. I've done that. I've dropped rod locker doors in my boat, definitely on them. Man, I've lost some St. Croix rods that way. Actually, two of them broke my heart. So keep them free of whatever's going to cause them damage. Now, as far as like reels go, some guys I know, they'll actually switch line out every year. I don't do that. I don't think it's necessary every year, at least not from a braid standpoint. A lot of braids will fade in the sun. That's usually a good indicator that you need to do something, not necessarily replace it. A lot of guys I know, they run a mono backer when they're running braid. I don't. I run straight braid. It'll cost you a little money, but I'll tell you why I do that. I do that because I'll go from reel to reel. So when I need when that line starts to look severely faded, I will have somebody hold the reel in one hand that I'm taking the braid off, and I feed it over to another reel. So that works for me. Saves me the grief and the concern of having a knot come loose when you get close to it when you're joining braid and mono. But that's just me. As far as mono, I don't see why you couldn't do the same thing, but that's totally up to you. So make sure the line's all taken care of. I like to clean on my bait casters. Definitely when I get down to an empty spool on them, when I'm doing a switch, I'll wipe them clean again with those alcohol swabs. The reasons why I like the alcohol swabs is you're not dousing your for quick cleaning. You're not dousing your equipment in solvent or anything like that. That's going to get in and dissolve grease. So if you guys know, lubrication definitely is a lack of lubrication is a big problem. That and sand in your gear. So let's see what David has to say. David says, I clean my fly lard all the time. Use new finish car detail. There you go. There you go. Big Slim says, I lost 3 rods due to the back class of a Ford Bronco. Here, let me turn this. Let me readjust this. I'm still getting this all set up here. If you guys can see what my desk looks like with this new setup, it's quite the monstrosity, but we're working on getting it done. Let's see what else we got. Brian Shepard says, always bring my stuff inside when done for the season. Strip reels, loose and drag. There you go. That'll just ensure that you're ready when it comes spring. Because, I mean, when spring comes, you guys want to go fishing, right? You don't want to be getting gear ready. You don't want to be doing any of that stuff. You want to get there, get back out on the water as I do. So you guys will understand what I'm talking about. There's Miss Melissa saying hello to everybody. Let's see what John says. I just posted a short of me breaking down a ducket rod. Sometime boat flipping no bueno. Not quite sure what that means, but we'll make sure to check out the short over on John's channel, Small Water Charters. He's out in Florida, big time crappie finisher, and I believe a ducket rod is like a cane rod, only made out of graphite or fiberglass. I'm not quite sure what John's are made of, but we'll find out Monday night on my show, definitely. Let's see. Hey, there's Muddy Water Bait and Tackles. It says rod socks are a good investment, fairly cheap, protecting a much bigger investment. 100%. Now, I'm guilty for not using rod socks. Very guilty, and I think I need to make a conscious effort to use them a little more. Definitely, good investment if you ask me. Cold Creek Catfish and Billy says, I switch mono from reel to reel also. Okay, good. Well, it's good to know I can do that with mono if I ever do that. So John says we keep all rod socks in the rod box. There you go. Yeah, that's one thing. If you're using rod socks, tuck them up. I've lost a few going down the river, so you want to make sure you got room or somewhere to put them. I got in the habit of putting them in my anchor bucket since my anchor gets pulled out before, being my boat's kind of tight. So that is definitely what I do. Let's see what else is going on. Nubby says, Big Slim, get you some Big Cat Fever rods. They don't break. A lot of them. I don't know about all that. They're nice rods, definitely, but all rods will break. Especially if you slam them in. They say you won't, but only time will tell. Krill says, I've only had one nice quality gear in these past few years. Maintenance was never a thing till recently, I understand. Yeah, and you know what? I know that Creel's talking about probably his bumping gear. At least I'm going to guess at that. Bumping rods ain't cheap, folks. You know, abus and pens ain't cheap, folks. You want to spend money on them twice, take care of them. If you don't know how to take them apart and rebuild them, send them somewhere that does every couple of years, every third year, whatever it takes. Keep them clean and depending on how much you use. You know what? Here, let me grab something real quick. I like Lucas Oil. Make some fishing reel oil. Let's see if we can get this to. Nope. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Lucas Oil, make some fishing reel oil. This stuff works pretty good. You can always throw a drop in certain places. You know, check your manuals or your schematics in the box. You should hold on to that stuff. Use a little bit of that where it works. And this stuff's real good. I like it because it's got kind of the needle point applicator. The stuff's slipperier than snot. Yeah, I said it. And apparently it won't harm animals because my dogs ate a bottle of this and it didn't kill them. So thank goodness for that. Thank you, Lucas Oil. Let's see what else. We got a lot of people talking in chat. TX Tiger says most old Bronco rear windows don't work. You got a nice one. There's Eric Massey. Eric Massey Jig Company. The rods I'm not using stay in rod socks also. There's my buddy Robert France. He's a good guy, a local gentleman, loves to fish in here. Change your gear, change line. I just buy new stuff. Well, I'm not going to comment on that, Robert. Not going to comment on that. So Melissa says rod socks are aggravating, but so worth it. But rod socks and flip-flops, you'll get through a cold snap. Tim Molina says, catfish rod socks would be great merch too. Hard to find bigger sizes in sporting goods stores and Cabela's. There's some places that are online. I'm sure if you contact Muddy River Bait and Tackle, if they don't have them, they'd be able to get them. I know that they're shipping stuff out now. And I know what you're saying. I think Tim's talking about especially spinning reels, the spinning reel rods or spinning rods. They have way larger eyes on them, so they require not only a longer rod sock, but a taller and deeper one or like a bigger circumferenced one. So yeah, I understand. When I was using spinning reels, I always had a hard time finding rod socks for those. So they also keep all your lines and stuff in order in your car when you're moving them. So yeah, I can't really talk too much about it. Yeah, they can be aggravating. Let's see what Robin has to say here. My rod socks are due in the mail any day now. Awesome. Hopefully you'll like them. Nubby likes to catch the fever rod socks. I don't know. I've had some nice rod socks. The ones from Mad Cats are nice too. Got a couple of rod socks from most of the manufacturers. None of them are really much different than the other. I haven't seen the Catch the Fever ones, so be interesting. When I get a chance, I'll check them out. I know a couple of guys who use them, so. There's Crappie Day Fish. I says, Creel, price changes are motivation on maintenance. You ain't kidding. You are not kidding. Man, you guys are talking with me. Thank you so much for hanging out, for visiting. Crappie Day, yes, it does. As I've aged, I appreciate spending more for the quality. That and you just don't want to spend it twice. It's a hard pill to swallow. You know, I don't mind spending the money on good stuff. It's having to spend it twice that's pretty upsetting. So what is going on, Justin's Fishing Fetish? How you doing, my friend? What's going on, LG? Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Kenneth over at Takedown Catfishing. Reel covers are good to keep dust and sand off your reels. That's another thing I'm guilty of. I got rod covers for all mine. I think Keith from Fishing Stuff, he's actually got a video how to turn can koozies into fishing covers, which is very relatively simple. And they're definitely a good investment, but guilty for not using them. I need to use them too. Let's see. Rod Knockers Fishing says gulp minnows in liquid dip tube. Good for panfish. Gulp minnows, 1-inch gulp minnows are my go-to. Let me tell you why. If I was to go buy minnows every time I wanted to go pan fishing, not minnows, minnows or worms. If I was to buy worms every time, I was going to go either just pan fishing at lunchtime or to pan fish or going for bait for flatheads and catfish. I would waste so much time doing so much more time, I should say. The Walmarts by me are all on the other side of town, all 5 of them. I got, I think 5, 6 Walmarts. The bait shops are twice as far as they are. And between the parking and having to go to the back of the store and getting there and getting back, I'm looking at, realistically waiting in line an hour trip just to get worms. If I get worms, I get a whole bunch, but I don't use them as much as I should. I'll use everything from the jigs that Lyle sends me, but I use the heck out of those gulp minnows. Actually, I just sent a couple of jugs over to Lyle to see what he thinks. And you don't need to put them on even a jig head, a tiny jig head. If you want to, the trout magnet jig heads work great for those Berkeley 1-inch minnows. They work really good. But I just get an Aberdeen hook it right through the belly and leave it hang, and it works fantastic. Put a split shot above it so you can get it casted out, whether it's under a float or not. Even if you use them, if you're finesse fishing on a drop shot rig, just hook it through the nose. And I'll tell you, I don't know what it is in there, but it's good stuff. I plan on taking some of my, let me show you guys here. Some of my growing collection. I'm proud of this. This is me bragging a little bit. My slowly growing collection of hand ties. I got some in my boat, but these are the ones that I've tied. When I tie them, I'll give them away, especially if I do it live. I'll give 3 of 5 that I tie, or I have been doing. I'll keep 1 for myself, at least after I get the hang of it. I even thought about taking some of the smaller ones I've tied and dropping them into those jars of the liquid from the gulp minnows and seeing if it helps it or any. That'd be kind of cool to find out. So we'll see. But yeah, those Berkeley gulp 1-inch minnows are the bomb as far as I'm concerned. Hey, there's Mike Greenwell. What's going on, Mike? How you doing, bud? There's a guy who does a lot of fishing. It'd be cool to see what he does for maintenance. Some guys I know, they just throw it in their boat and go and move on to the next one. So I know some guys who got some sponsorships and stuff here locally that, when they wear their stuff out, they I'm making adjustments here. When they wear stuff out, they just talk to their people and they get new stuff. So I'm not that fortunate. John says big rod socks are called magnums, I believe. Okay, dokie. What's going on, Billy? How you doing? Cold Creek Catfish and Billy says, I can't wait to get me an orange and a purple Uncle Lou rod. I can say you'll be very happy with those rods. I got a blue one and I got 4 oranges, I think, sitting in the garage. Actually, 3 of them or 2 of them I need reels for. We'll see what we're doing. Robert says, just kidding, of course. I take my good stuff to Corin's in Chicago's. Jeff, the Real Tech, does a great job. Awesome. I do my own reel maintenance on my Abus, at least. I did do my first Shimano Stratic. It wasn't too bad, but I didn't tear it all the way down to the frame, but I think I got it to where it's going to work. Those Stratics are up there in, they're not saltwater money, but there's probably as close to a saltwater spinning reel as you'll get without having the expense, but they still ain't cheap. I mean, I think I paid like $160 a piece for them. I know that sounds like a lot, but I've had them for 6 years without issue. One of them, I kicked off a dock in like 30-degree water. It was right here a couple springs ago, and it sat underwater for a good hour. I went all the way back to my truck. I went and I got a gaff that I keep in my pickup bed to help pull stuff around. I got a tall pickup truck. Trust me, it helps. And I was able to get it out, and I didn't clean it for a year or two, and the thing ran flawlessly. So one thing I do for spinning rods is I inspect the bails. A lot of time, if you're throwing your gear around, which I'm guilty for, you'll bend those bails on them. So you want to make sure that they're not getting in the way. Also, here's another tech tip that I like to give: close your bails manually. Don't just turn the handle on the reel so they re-engage itself. That there's no better way of wearing out a reel than that. Just get in the habit; it'll become second nature after that. See what Muddy Water Bait and Tackle has to say. You can get custom rod sock sizes made. Prices are a little steep, but not that bad. Oh, cool. I imagine if you go on a place like Etsy too, you can find that kind of stuff. So that would be a cool place to look. And of course, eBay. All right, still going through some chat questions here. Let's see what Danny Stone has to say. What's up, brother? The abuse my rods go through is criminal. Riding in a truck down dusty roads, not to mention me falling down the bank and landing on them. That could hurt. That could definitely smart. Yeah, Danny's probably pretty hard on his gear, but good news is he just won a pair of Uncle Lou rods. How did you win a pair? I wanted to win that pair so bad. Congratulations, Danny. So you don't even have to take care of them. You're just replacing them. Let's see what Ricky Solotex and Adventures says. Mark, do you have a video on how to flush or drain the gas from a boat motor? It's sat for 3 months. 3 months, I wouldn't worry about it. This is what I would do. Me. I'm not telling you guys to do it. This is what I would do. If I had gas that sat 3 months in my boat, I would get you some seafoam. That'll work. Get you some sort of gas treatment. Seafoam's a hell of a one. I mean, 3 months is really not that much. They tell you to be concerned about it. Draining gas from a boat is fairly easy. If you can disconnect, if you got an outboard, if you can disconnect the fuel line from the motor, hang it over the side, or hang the bulb over the side, disconnect it, use that bulb to get it started and prime it. You can empty it into something. But if you got something like a 30-gallon tank, what are you going to do with all that fuel? That's the nightmare. If you can put it in the gas cans, slowly burn it in another vehicle or a lawnmower, that's fine. But I would personally, me, not telling you guys to do it, I would go get me some seafoam, maybe double dose it and let it rip. Go burn through that gas on the next trip, burn through that tank until that tank is almost done before I fill it. Not go through half a tank and put more in, and so on. I would run it to almost empty before I refilled it. So that's basically what I would do to my boat. Fishing Fever in the house. What's going on, bud? How you doing? Dale Hayslip says, I use old holly socks to put on my reels. I don't know what a holly sock is, but anything that covers them up is probably a good deal. Or probably, probably will work a good deal. What the hell am I talking about? Robert France again, he says, I have about 10 bottles of various gulp baits, and I put them in a small lunch cooler bag. My buddy loves using my crappie bites. Cool stuff. Good tip there. There's all sorts of stuff laying around your house that you can repurpose to help keep stuff sorted. Like all my jig tying stuff, my wife had bought a bunch of photo boxes from IKEA. She literally paid like 90 cents a piece. They're real nice boxes, fancy with metal edges and stuff. They're black. They even got places for little like library type labels on them. And I think she literally paid like a 99 cents or $1.99 for them. And I've kind of confiscated the ones she wasn't using. Those are great for stuff like that, for dry goods. So, and in my garage, it's funny because even today I finished a tin can of a tin container of cookies from the Pirouettes. I went and took that out to the garage because I'm going to use that to store some stuff in. So, and Gia Creel says, I thought myself quickly how to taught myself quickly how to take apart and assemble my reels. Diagrams are available on the website. Yeah, if you have lost parts, schematics, or the instructions, all that stuff's available online. Just search your reel maker and model, and you'll be able to find it. A lot of times, if you go to Google Images, you can download a picture of that of what you need to know right there. Simple as pie. I actually keep them on my. Here's another tip that I do. I have, my iPad that I use quite a bit. I download them as PDFs right to my iPad, so I always got them in one place. They get uploaded to the cloud. I use the cloud for my iPad stuff because it's nothing private or confidential on there, but it's accessible from anywhere I access the cloud, so that stuff's always available to me. If you can't afford an iPad, download the stuff on your computer and print it out and put it in a file cabinet. So you don't need an iPad to do it, any kind of tablet. So Dave over at Double Hook Angling says, I love my orange Uncle Lou's rod. He has two. Fishing Fever says, don't set them up in a corner. Keep them straight. That's a great tip. I got two rods that I love. I call them my flathead rods. They're a couple of rail splitters that I've had forever. They were gifted to me by the Mud Bums at CatCon #2. And I've caught so many flathead on them. They're ridiculous, and they keep going. They have plated eyes on them. Always had braid on there. They've never grooved. They've never notched out. That's how come I'm pretty confident in braid not notching out most higher quality catfish rods. And they're 8-foot rods, and I got a short bed, and the truck I had before that was a short bed, so it's 7.5 feet from corner to corner. These rods got a permanent bent in the tip just for me keeping them in there. So you're absolutely right, Fishing Fever. Your rods will stay that way if you keep them bent. Dave says, I rebuild my own. Abby, they're not hard. Yeah, they're absolutely not hard. If you got a good set of reading glasses, or if you got healthy eyes, unlike me, you can do it. I even got a magnifying glass for some of them smaller parts and stuff. And there's a bunch of videos. Skip over at Clearview Outdoors comes to mind. Yeah, I think he's got a good series on Abu reels. Now, as far as other reels go, cheaper reels and stuff, whether they're serviceable, I imagine they are. How easy it's to get parts, I don't know. I don't have any. I finally got an Ancient Mariner that was sent to me, and I appreciate it. I'm going to give that one a shot. That's going to go on one of these new Uncle Lou rods. So I hope to find out if they are a good alternative to what I'm using. But those, again, Abus, I've had this talk with a lot of people. They're the 1911 of fishing reels. They've been around forever, and there's tons of parts out there for them. Robert says, I can fix a Zepco 202 for my grandkids if necessary. There you go. John says, we use Stratix on all our clients' rods. They handle a lot. I can't speak. I can't say too many good words about those Stratix. I had an offer sent to me to send me some Daiwa reels to try, and I'm waiting on them to show up here soon. So we'll be trying them this spring. So that's another thing that leads me into the next thing. So we talked about just cleaning your gear up, cleaning your rod or your reels up, taking care of line, lubricating the equipment where it needs to be lubricated. Now let's talk about getting any new gear set up. I got a couple of Fluger reels that I received for Christmas, thanks to my thanks to my sister-in-law. I don't know how she knew what I wanted. Some little birdie must have told her. I'm falling behind on chat here, folks. I'm trying to keep up. Forgive me. I had to make sure I had the right line I needed ordered for them. Make sure they're working order. I've had stuff show up from Cabela's, not that it's their fault, that stayed in the box for 3 months. I pull it out and it was bad. Pull the stuff out of the boxes, inspect it, you know, I'm not saying go out and fish with them if you can't, but, you know, turn them reels, make sure that them hooks are sharp, make sure that there's no cracks in the baits you're ordering if you're ordering hard baits, stuff like that. The bills on crankbaits and stuff, make sure they're loose, not loose, make sure they're connected, things like that. Make sure the eyes on the baits are intact. There's no ridges, just so you're happy with the part. Because if you wait too long to return something, it's just going to be a nightmare. And again, you're going to pull something out of your box, and worst case scenario, you're going to get a fish on there and you're going to lose it. And we all love for that to happen. That's me being sarcastic, folks. So Jeremy says, double hook, it's the same with my pens. They're made to be taken apart and serviced. There you go. I got a couple of squalls I haven't serviced yet, so that they probably need it. I just don't use them enough. Rod Knockers Fishing says the Saga run starts around Valentine's Day on the Tennessee River. Gulp minnows for saugers, or if you're getting some of the bigger ones. From my understanding, I don't use like the 3 and the 4 inchers, but I would definitely use the 3s for walleyes around here. I use some plastics, definitely use some plastics. Kytex come to mind. Eric B turned me on to them when we went walleye fishing the last time I went with him, and they worked really, really well. I think the other brand I have is Athlon X, and the Kytex are working better, but I'm a firm believer in those Berkeley minnows. I don't see why they wouldn't work. I just don't have any experience with like the 3 and the 4 inch ones in the big jars, so I haven't bought those. But yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. It's on mine says, I had my Stratic longer than that, Mark. Wonderful reels, they never fail. Right on, Michelle. There's another one, LG Bass. The Stratics are awesome. I have an old model Stratic from the early 2000s, still using it. See, there you go. And I know that Tom was using all sorts of reels outside of catfish reels even before this. So there's another one. Dale says, screws always come out on my Abu reels. All right. Yeah, they'll be known to do that. Check your stuff through the year or before use. If you guys ever watch any of my live streams, you'll see me fidgeting with my reels. That's when I go to do my first cast. It's me always checking, make sure nothing's loose, nothing's rattling. I check to make sure the reel's seated on the rod. That's just habit. I've been doing it for so long. There's the thumb screws on the other side. If you're so inclined, you can get Loctite. I don't know if it's the red or the blue. I know one you'll never get out, the other one will lock in there. You can get them in like a chapstick form, and you could easily put just a tiny dab of whichever one holds least. I'm afraid to tell you guys which ones to use because I think I know which it is, but I don't want to be wrong. So read the instructions on them. I'm not going to go there. And that might help, at least on those thumb screws. So now, mind you, if you do that, they are going to be a little harder to get out. Just so you know, I'd rather check those things manually each time, but there's an idea for you too. Oh, looks like Lance has some gear he's selling. Sorry to hear that, Lance. There we go. Right there. Double Hook Angler says, I use blue Loctite just a very little bit. And Dave, if you've ever seen the stuff in a little chapstick type containers, that stuff's pretty cool. I use that stuff on a bunch of stuff. Danny said, try finding a rod sock for a 16-foot rod. Danny, the thing's not one piece. Is it? No. You got to be able to get an oversized rod sock for rods that are collapsible, bunch of pieces. So Avid's got a rod to replace. So maybe one of those rods that Lance is selling is good. All right. So we talked about some of the new gear we're getting. You want to make sure you're ready. Obviously, if you got any tackle storage, keep those. All right. I use not Fluger, but Flambeau. I use Flambeau boxes. The reason I use Flambeau boxes is because they got that those blue inserts, which apparently are rust resistant. You guys see me do my live fishing shows where I'm out all night, or in fog and cooler, nights that get cold, and that means moisture. I've had water in my boxes, but my stuff hasn't really rusted. I try to keep them closed as much as possible. Check your hooks for rust. Check your baits for rust. Leaving them sit all the time. I know a lot of guys that put some of that anti-soil in their tackle box and drop in each compartment, and that seems to help me. I just get those. A lot of guys also, I know, they'll use those little silica packets too when they're storing their stuff for long term. They'll keep them everything. They're eating beef jerky, and they pull them out of there. Granted, their baits and their hooks smell like beef jerky, but I don't. If catfish are gonna eat chicken, they'll eat beef jerky. Trust me on that. They use those. Just make sure you get out and you check them. Now's a good time to do it if you're not doing much else. So Smallwater says, from being a boat mechanic for years, never use ethanol fuel. It turns the inside of fuel lines to jelly. That it does. I know there's new kinds of fuel lines. So if you happen to have that happen to you, make sure when you go to buy new fuel lines that you get that stuff that's ethanol resistant. I use Startron fuel additive when I'm filling up. They say that helps. It's been good to me so far. I haven't had a problem. There's other fuel additives you can use. But yeah, ethanol fuel is bad for fuel lines and for bulbs too. So if you're having problems, high RPMs and stuff, chances are it could very well be a fuel line or a bad bulb. And if you got a lot of ethanol only available to you, that would be one place to check. So good point, though. Definitely good point, John. I appreciate it. Let's see what 922 has to say. Pre-mix your fuel on pre-mix your fuel on 2 cycle gas is treated, but I still use stable and the fuel regardless the length of storage. Yep, that's why I used to add Startron. I'm not sure if it's the same stuff, but stable actually makes an outboard formula or a marine formula as well. So you might want to look that up. So Justin, these are sample hats, man. Ain't nobody getting any of these until I go into full production, if they do. I've had this for a while, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of liking this one. I'm thinking about getting one made like this with my full logo across. Stay tuned. Maybe next year or next fall, I should say. Avid 2 is saying he can't find rod socks for tall. Guys, they're not one-piece rods. Break them down and get a shorter rod sock. It'll fit in there, guys. Fisher Fever says, my catfish sumo rod came with a rod sock. Cool, extra perk. Yeah, I believe that Catch the Fevers do, and I believe that I know that Mad Cats do. So check them out. Whisker Seeker does not. Yeah, I think those are the only ones that do that I've come across. I knew that Slime Cat ones did, but if you don't know, go find out. But they do come with the rod sock, so. I'm really falling behind, Chad. If I miss any of your messages, I apologize. Don't hesitate to ask them again. There we go. 922 barbecue says blue is lightest, green, red, and black. Black is welded. I've never even seen the black Loctite. Yeah, blue Loctite is made to be removed. Red is pretty much permanent. Yep, exactly. I did not want to say that. Big Slim says my Abu screws always back out too. If you guys ever handled a 911, there's a little bit of slop to them, but they always go boom. What else am I going to say? There's much more to say. Silica pack. See, silicone pack. I think Tim means silica packs. Sea foam's a good one. There's another recommendation. Bugman says I will pay for a high octane fume with lead, i.e., race gas. This crap they call gas ruins any good motor. Yeah, that stuff's not available to me, Bugman, around here. At least I haven't come across it yet. but I get what you're saying. I don't know how high octane fuel isn't a modern would treat a modern day outboard. So be interesting to see what the manufacturers have to say about it, especially a unit that is still under warranty. So you'd have to find out. Yeah, Bugman says with my dirt bikes, I had to drain my float bowl. Even if only sitting for a week, it clogs the jet so bad. That happened to my lawnmowers too. It's happened for quite a bit. Actually, in my Honda, it's pretty bad. I have to drain it. Oh, look at this. Crappie Day Fish On says FOA rods come with sleeve. Come sleeved. Very nice touch, Freddie. Very nice touch. That I kind of knew. But a lot of electronics, though, well, I guess it'll adjust. I don't know. I would be talking out of my butt if I said I did. Nubby wants to order rod. Contact, what is it? Pooh Butt or Pooh Bear. I am Pooh Bear at yahoo.com. Freddie, feel free to post your email. There's Miss Jody. She's being sarcastic, saying, hello, Mr. Flathead. Welcome for coming in, Jody. Hey, if you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, I'd appreciate it if you did. It'll show Lyle that you're thinking of him and wishing him well. I couldn't think of a better way to do so than knocking it out of the park with the thumbs up. So if you have a chance and you feel that this the show and the franchise over here at Panfish Nation is worth it, and I'm doing an okay job. I'm not going to say great job, but if you think I'm doing an okay job, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. I also remind you guys that you can become a member to the channel by hitting the super chat button. That also helps Lyle to keep this channel going, helps keep the lights on. He is going to be doing a giveaway on the 1st for a tumbler, I believe. He was talking about that. It'll help him to provide prizes like that. It helps him to ship jigs and such in the future. So that support's greatly appreciated. You guys have been great. If you're having a hard time joining the membership and you do wish to, I did include the link down in the description for you Apple users. I know a lot of times on an Apple phone, for some reason, it does not work. I don't know if they're going to fix that ever or not, but that link down there is for that. It'll take you to the web page version of the join part. Creole Catfishing says high octane fuel will slow down an engine not designed to burn for it. Higher the number, the slower it burns. Lower power if it's designed for regular. Yeah, for the longest time, you recommended at outboards to run the lowest octane fuel, like 87. They said don't burn the high octane stuff in there. At least that's what I know in some modern ones, especially fuel injected ones, with a more ECM driven motor, I guess. I don't know if that's the reason, but that's just for me. Having some experience with them, they'll tell you to run additive, but run the lowest octane fuel. And I always wondered why, and that explains a lot to me, Jeremy. Jeremy, you can trust him. Let's what are these FOA rods that you speak of? Small Water says our gas stations have aviation fuel with all the airboats here. We could put some of that in our car. Got a couple stories about aviator gas. So, ever notice gas is not orangish any longer? Well, I haven't noticed that, but I'll look next time I'm filling up my whatever it is I'm filling up. Have not paid attention until about 5 years ago when I got on a bike, really high performance carb. I didn't know that. Must be some sort of additive. I know they used to have to put additives in there to turn them different colors for tax reasons if their additives didn't change the color. Have I ever tried octane boost? Not in a boat. Tried it in a car. Well, they did reformulate it to keep it from evaporating as quickly, which doesn't make sense. They've stabilized it more, at least what I've read. Good. As John says he runs Rec 92. I guess that's 92 octane. I don't know what the Rec is. In our 2018 Yamaha show, it loves it. I think those shows are uh, designed to run a little hotter though. They got I think the tune in a different lower end, or I could be thinking Mercury. I don't know. David Martin, what's going on, David? How you doing, bud? Stable 360 Marine, protect your entire fuel system against damage, rust, and corrosion caused by moisture and ethanol fuel. There it is. That's the name for the Stable 360. I think that's similar, if not pretty close to the same as that Startron. But I will look for that 360. If I can find it for cheaper, I'll definitely switch over. I find that Starbright in the boning section at Walmart. It's like $10 for like a pint of that stuff. It's pretty ridiculous. You only need a couple ounces when you fill up, but that's still quite a bit of cash. Creole chiming in again. He used to run race cars. He says higher octane in these modern engines will actually increase the EGTs and lead to an incomplete burn in the combustion chamber. Poor mileage. That makes sense too. Just going through chat here, folks, seeing what's going on. Hey, what's going on, SK? How you doing, bud? Recreational fuel, not ethanol. And yes, the show is super high output. Cool. All right, so we were doing we went through your tackle box, pretty much went through, check all the compartments, check all your bait storage that you plan on using, check your hooks, make sure you got here's another thing that happens to me, or it used to happen to me every spring, is I'd get out on a lake and I would need a tool, whether it's a pair of fishing pliers or regular pliers or a bait knife or even a regular knife, flashlights. I'm betting that you left your headlamp. I am betting that you left your batteries in your headlamp if you're use one when you're fishing at night. Well, you better go check them like tonight when after the show, because I'm guaranteeing you there's probably some corrosion in there. You want to go through, do that, make sure that you don't have batteries stored in anything that does have batteries, including your scales and such. Make sure they're working. Now you guys might think I'm kind of crazy, but I'll go downstairs with my scales and I got a 10-pound dumbbell down there that I check them with every year. I know that this one 10-pound dumbbell, I got a big Sharpie mark on it. Every year it weighs at 10.17 pounds. So I make sure that nothing's changed and everything's still working. I'll do that. Make sure you got your nets handy because you're going to forget them the first time you go out. Again, ask me how I know. These are some of the things that I do to get ready for spring fishing and for the next season. We can get into the whole boat thing. I know we did a little bit with fuel and stuff. Make sure that you got fresh fuel when you go out for the first time, if you're not trying to burn out the old stuff that you forgot to burn out before the end of the year. If you're going to burn out old stuff, like I said, Seafoam will do wonders. I don't know how that Stable 360 Marine or the Starbright is for older fuel, but I know that Seafoam has been around forever and it's always treated me pretty good on fuel way older than a season. Trust me on that one. Hey, what's going on, Stan? How you doing? Got people talking with each other. That's why I love these chats. Everybody talking, sharing knowledge in the chats. It's pretty cool. Let's see what else we can get ready. Make sure your baits are stocked. I ordered 2 jars of those Berkeley 1-inch minnows. I ordered 8 packs of the plastics that I really like, one color in particular, because that color always sells out in the spring. That's kind of like my go-to search color for plastics. And then I'll switch over to like hand ties or other colors. Get your electronics in order. Make sure you have everything you need if you got new electronics. Read the manuals of the new equipment that you're putting in as far as electronics go. Like I did purchase that live scope, so I've been kind of shopping for mounting solutions for that. I'm ordering up some 10 gauge wire to run to the front of from the front of the boat back to my lithium battery, so I got a good connection, so there's no interference there. Stuff like that. Registration. I had to buy a new sticker for my boat for the chain. Some waters do charge that. Hey, what's going on, Half Century? How you doing, bud? Thanks for coming in. Make sure you get all of that stuff. Make sure your registration. It's a good idea to check your insurance if you so choose to have it or you need to have it. Things like that. Other important things: check your ropes, check your life preservers, check your tires. Now's a good time if you're not in bitter cold or you have a heated facility. What's going on, Duggar? How you doing, bud? Heated facility. Why not check your bearings now? You could check the air pressure in your tires, but wait till you get warmer weather, because as soon as the weather warms up, the air in those tires, it's going to expand. So you're going to end up having to take some air out. I usually run my boat trailer tires at the max PSI where they're going to. I get the best wear and I get the best mileage that way too. So let's see what else we got. Now's a good time if you have access to clean your boat out too. I leave my all my compartments open all winter because I made the mistake first year I had the boat of leaving them closed, and wow, was there quite the stench inside those compartments from bait knives that I had one on each side. That was ugly. Clean and sharpen your bait knife. I do that quite a bit in getting ready for spring fishing, things like that. Plan it out, plan your trips. I mean, we got Mendota planned out already. I already got my places where I'm staying set up for there. I'm trying to make plans for a couple other outings. I might go to the Tennessee meet and greet. Obviously, I'm going to CatCon. I'll be down there. So if you're going down there, make sure you stop and say hello. If I don't recognize you, forgive me. Just let me know who you are by your username. And then after your username, I'll try to remember your actual, your birth name. You have to forgive me. It's a lot of people to remember. I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just kind of making excuses that I'm always grateful to see all of you guys and meet people in person. I'm trying to think what else. Anybody else got anything going on here they want to talk about? Anything they feel that's real important? Get ready for spring fishing. Besides just getting excited, keep your cool. Do your research on any bodies of water that you haven't fished yet that you want to. Heck, do research on the bodies of water that you do fish. Go to Navionics web app. It's free. If you got a computer, I think you can get to it using a browser on your phone or a tablet. If not, I believe the subscription is fairly inexpensive, but it's an invaluable tool. It'll help you find textbook tactic type areas. When I say that, underwater points, humps, drop-offs, channel ledges, things like that. You'd be surprised what you'd overlook. If you're looking at rivers, keep in mind that rivers change from year to year. Navionics hasn't been the best as far as in my area, what the rivers are and the underwater topography of the said rivers. But it's a start. It gives you a good idea. There's a 13-foot hole on this one section of river that I've been searching for, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Can anybody tell me what song that's from? That just came out. Wow, that's bad. Let me double check here in chat real quick. Oh, there you go. There's another good thing. Creole Catfish says, good idea to check the tow vehicle out as well. Good idea to change the rear diff foil. Towing boats is hard on differentials. Absolutely. Also, make sure, check. I have a towing box. I don't know if you guys do, but if you've had to use your towing box, chances are you might not have put those tools back in there. In my towing box, I got like a a wire extension. I got well, I got extra bulbs, but I got LEDs now. I do have extra. I need to, you know what I do need to go? I'm glad we talked about this. Now I remembered. Harbor Freight sells trailer lights, LED ones that fit my boat, fit a couple different boats for dirt cheap. It can't hurt to have an extra set of LED lights in there if you do break a light or something. Extra lug nuts in there. I'm in the process of ordering a whole replacement hub to go with me. On my trips, because I plan on doing a little more traveling. I know Lyle and Josh and Chad talked about it a little bit. They had mentioned, packing the bearings and vacuum sealing them. That's a great idea. You can go a step further and you can order full whole hub replacements on like e-trailer and stuff, or you can put one together yourself. This way, if you're on the road with the family or whatever, the way I look at it, or again, if I'm in a hurry and can't wait to fish, you can pull that off, throw the new hub on there. It's already been pre-greased, pre-done, and you're ready to go, as long as you don't ruin the whatchamacallit, the spindle. But if you catch it soon enough, hopefully you didn't do that, you can make it to your next destination. But yeah, I recommend, if you have a tow box, make sure all your stuff's in there that you need. Extra lug nuts, things to get the spare off. I got a bottle jack in mine. I got plastic, what are they called? Wheel chocks, just easy ones. They work for a little small trailer like mine. Keep the trailer from rolling back on me. Simple stuff like that. I bought this little toolbox on the cheap at Harbor Freight. All it's got to do is store stuff I hardly ever open it up to. I even got a foldable lug nut wrench. It's one of those T wrenches that folds down. It fits in there too. So that would be another good thing for you to do. So let me go through. Check your bilge pump a couple times a year. Run a little water in the pump area and make sure it works. I've seen them freeze and break. Yeah, that can definitely happen. That's a good idea. That would be more like a get ready to go your first trip kind of deal, but I would definitely do that. I just recently installed an automatic bilge pump on my boat with an override. So yeah, definitely thought about that. Come spring when I go to take it out to make sure that it works. So let's see if we got anything else. Robert Francis, what temperature do crappie start spawning or running at? I know a couple of places they're insane when it happens in the spring. I'm crazy when it happens in the spring. This is how I do it in my neck of the woods, Robert. I wait for the first reports of morels from my friends. If the morels are here, the crappie are in the flats. And that's not necessarily spawning, that's ice out crappie. That's a totally different animal. They'll go into the flats in the warmest side of the lake, in the shallows. And they're looking for oxygen and they're looking for a change in diet. They've been eating on bugs and larvae and stuff all winter long. They want a real meal. That time of year, I'm catching 10-inch crappie with 3-inch, 4-inch shad in their belly. So they're hungry. They're ready to eat. That's the easiest time for me to limit out throughout the year. And we'll get on a 15 fish limit in an hour that time of year. It's great. You should come with me, Rob. I'll take care of you. We'll go do that. Yep, check the drain plugs for cracks and dry rot. I always carry a spare one in my boat. Smallwater says, I bet I live in more country than Kentucky. Check your winch strap. Absolutely. That's a great idea, Stan. Thanks for the good tip. John's in Florida, so he says our water has to cool down to the 70s down. He's bragging again to get them spawning. They're spawning heavy now. Cool. Bugman says small water. Okay, he's talking to small water. Yeah, Robert's in the western suburbs of Chicago. Robert's one of the guys that perch fish. I met him fishing for perch. I met him through Violet and stuff. So he's a good dude. Me and him are going to do some No, we'll talk, Robert. We got to do some fishing this year over at your spot. So, guys, I want to thank you for entertaining me tonight, for giving me all of these questions. I appreciate you. Again, hit that thumbs up. That's the best way to show Lyle you're thinking of him and you wish him a speedy recovery. I appreciate you all. Have a great night. God bless. Real quick, I'm going to the outdoor show this weekend. I forget what the total name is. It's Chicago Boat and Outdoor Show. It's out here in Schaumburg. I might go live on the Catfish and Crappie Live channel. We'll see what it is. I'm going to go visit my friend Violet over there. We're going to go look at some boats. We're going to look at a lot of bait. There's going to be a lot of people who are doing seminars and stuff there. It's a smaller venue, but it's a cool venue. I get to hang out with a lot of local anglers and see what's available to me here and up north. I look forward to going to that every year. Not just because of the fishing, it's because of the people. And they sell elk jerky and they sell really good pickles there, folks. I ain't gonna lie, really good stuff. So if you're around, and I think I can pull it off without pissing too many people off, we'll go live on Saturday morning. So keep an eye out there. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Make sure you go check out Team Snag and Whiskers over on Dustin's channel. I believe he's going live right after this. So thank you very much for the kind words, Melissa. I appreciate all of you guys. We'll talk later. Keep warm. God bless, and get ready to fish for spring.